Okay, hello. Let's get started. I'm going to show a presentation where we're actually going to get our hands a bit dirty with a blockchain. My name is Heikki. I come from Kantega. I'm a consultant, software engineer, and also a co-owner of Kantega. I'll get back to that in a bit. I'm going to talk about trust and digital identity in the Ethereum blockchain today. And you heard India Gupta and some of the panel and regulation that talk about anonymity and secrecy. And also Paul Korovdal from IBM talked a bit about the membership and controlled membership in the blockchain. And I'm also going to address those parts a bit. So the thing about me being a co-owner at Kantega is we're a consultancy company, and we want all our employees to become owners. So this is a picture taken a couple of miles north from here, from our first General Assembly, Generalforsamling in norsk, which was back in 2003. And back then, the 40 people started a company which was equally shared ownership between those 40. And they wanted that to continue. And so every employee who's entered Kantega afterwards has gotten the opportunity to become an owner. This was our General Assembly in Iceland, 2013. We were 90 people going up to Iceland, and someone told us we were the first company to ever have a General Assembly at Thingvellir. And that is where the old Vikings used to meet and have their meetings in thousands of years ago. So where do we go from there? Why can't we be the first company to have our General Assembly in a blockchain? So I'll get back to that in a little bit. Let's go back. Like a lot of people in the tech community, my first meeting with the blockchain was the Slashdot article in 2010, when Bitcoin released the version 0.3. I downloaded the client, I let it run for a while. I never bought any Bitcoin. And in 2013, I went on a golfing trip to Dubai with a couple of friends of mine. And I laid out for the plane ticket, I laid out for the hotel, and they were going to pay me back. And one of my friends told me, "So, do you want it paid in Bitcoin then?" It was like 10,000 kroners each. I said no. I'm expecting a huge devaluation in that market. I guess I was right. That was the price when I turned down the offer. But we're not in it for the money, we're in it for the potential. And in 2015, something came up. I followed the blockchain market and Bitcoin for all the time in between, and I saw the potential there, but you can't do anything special with just a currency. And then last year I discovered a platform which actually made it possible to do something much more. Ethereum arrived. It's actually from 2014. I discovered it last year and actually been doing some experimenting on that since. So what is so special about Ethereum? It is the first truly global singleton computer, and you can't turn it off. This is Dr. Gavin Wood's words from his talk at DevCon from last year. Seriously recommend it to anyone who wants to watch and get deeper into the Ethereum concept. You have a shared state across this computer. You have a guaranteed consistency, of course, eventually, because with all the problems with scalability, you don't do actually real time. We can do near real time stuff here, but not real time yet. And this is quite important because you can have isolated VMs, virtual machines, for each contract and agreement you want to have on the Ethereum project, on the network. That's kind of cool. It's ubiquitous, and everything you do is verifiable and auditable. And of course, as a software engineer or developer, the most important thing, it's programmable. So when I discovered Ethereum, I started experimenting with it. It's like you want to create contracts, just played around on the modern test network, got familiar with the API, the RPC API and the JavaScript APIs. We tested a couple of cool use cases which you can do on it. And of course, the most important thing when you start working with Ethereum is it's not a silver bullet. You can't do everything with it. You should definitely see what you shouldn't do about it. So we looked into use cases that absolutely did not fit. We created workshops for internal use. We hope to do them externally as well. And in this part of the process, it's all about learning and failing. And it's a maturing platform, so we have to keep continuing and learning stuff and maturing our knowledge on it as well. Because this is a changing platform. It's going to be totally different in a couple of years or 1 year from now. So you just have to keep up on it and what is happening. It's like, it's only 1 month ago on Pi Day, on March 14th, that Homestead was released, and Ethereum went out of beta. So let's go back to our use case now, with having a general assembly in a blockchain. We want to have a general assembly where we can do the voting in a blockchain. We want to do the signing off, and we want to have the storage of proof of every decision we make in the blockchain. But that comes up with an interesting question. How do we know that everyone who votes and comes up with some of these decisions actually are who they say they are? We need some proof of identity. For people who have done some work on Ethereum or any part of the blockchain networks, you can see this is a list of my local accounts on the Ethereum network. It's just numbers. How can I know who these people are? These are all my accounts, of course. So we need someplace where we can have trust. And we need to have proof of identity that these people are actually who they say they are. KYC and Know Your Customer and ALM, AML, anti-money laundering are huge concepts. And this is actually something important. We have to have an identity which is built up over time, which is unforgable and auditable. That is one way of doing it, actually building a chain of trust over time. This is trust and convenience. But it all comes down to this. I should have stricken out the internet thing and just said blockchain, because on a blockchain, no one knows you're a dog. And then suddenly, our use case of the General Assembly took a different path, because now I wanted to discover how can we have proof of digital identity. In Norway, we are so lucky to have a large infrastructure of digital identity. We have several solutions which are so-called identity security level 4, which is both two-factor, and the electronic ID is handed over to someone where they have started to identify themselves with a passport. So we have 3 large parts of this in Norway. It's Comfit. Who here got a Comfit ID? Okay. The second largest is Bypass. How many here has a Bypass PKI? Also, we have Bank ID. Luckily, how many here has a Bank ID? Oh, that's good. Luckily, as I said, I'm a consultant. And since last December, for the last 4.5 months, I've been consulting as a project architect at BankID. So I know this and the internal issues of this quite well. So from there, I went and did a proof of concept. So I'm actually going to show a video now. So this is me actually getting up the test RPC environment on Ethereum. These are my accounts over there. I'm using Truffle to build and deploy an application to the network. And I built a BankID authentication out. So I'm going to log in. This is BankID pre-production. So this is not my SSN. So this you can see is actually my certificate ID in the BankID pre-production environment. Okay, and now log in. This is my certificate info. These are my local Ethereum accounts. Now I want to connect my BankID certificate to the top account. Oh.
Let's go a little bit.
So this is my account, now actually attached to a Norwegian BankID. So now I can just try to verify that. So you can see here the transaction and the transaction costs and so. And now I click on that account and I retrieve my certificate from the BankID as well. So now I have a proof of concept of connecting a BankID to an Ethereum account. So where can we go from there? I have a working project proof of concept of connecting a Norwegian digital identity with an Ethereum account. I can look up on an Ethereum account and find who is this person. So, should I provide a library for it? Should I provide a contract available for everybody? Can be used by everybody? Let's see, so soon. Because as Christopher Hannes said earlier today, this is actually the quote from the guy who said it, Blythe Masters, said it at Money 2020. I think that the time frame that it will take to get to be mainstream would be 5 to 10 years. Remember people, we are still in the early parts of this technology. Let's see where we go.